Now, I received a copy of the letter, and my initial reaction was to ask the labor union, are you prepared for the strike? And they told me they were prepared. You know, a strike in certain circumstances is like a coup. Once the coup succeeds, there's nothing you can do about it. But if it fails, the penalty is very clear. And that is why, in the understanding reached last night, there is a clause that nobody will be penalized as a result of this strike. Now, coming to the law, there is no court order today that relates to the ongoing strike. When the federal government went to court a few months ago, the issue of minimum wage was not on the table. So the court could not have anticipated that there would be a strike over the minimum wage. The labor leaders, neither Osifo nor Ijero, thought we will get to this level because the national minimum wage of 2019 has a 5-year lifespan. Section 3 of the law says this particular wage, national minimum wage, shall be paid for 5 years. So the National Minimum Wage Act, as I did point out yesterday, expired last month. Why did the government allow the expiration? So if the tripartite committee that was set up had concluded its work, by now the National Assembly should have enacted a new National Minimum Wage Act. And this strike would have been unnecessary. So when you are talking about law, today there is no court order against this particular strike. Secondly, when the Learned Attorney General by giving a 15-day notice, again, as the labor leaders, this is what the government is saying. And they say, but you are our lawyers. Anytime we are giving the government notice, adequate notice, what has been the effect? They will rush to the National Industrial Court, get an ex parte order to restrain us from proceeding on strike. If we went on strike, we would then be accused of contempt of court. This was why this time around, we were mobilizing our members. Government knew we were mobilizing our members. At the end of the day, we said we were going on strike. So government didn't have the opportunity over the weekend to rush to the National Industrial Court. And for me, it's a lesson for the government that when next time the labor says we're going on strike, the government will have to rush back to the drawing table. And this will have happened over the weekend. Now let me also say furthermore, the penalty, I've looked at the law, I've looked at the Trade Union Act, I've looked at the provisions of the Trade Dispute Act. In the case of ASU and the federal government and ASU, the federal government dragged ASU to court during the last strike. And the President of the National Industrial Court, the Honorable Justice Benedict Kanye, ruled in line with Section 43 of the Trade Dispute Act that if a worker goes on a strike in Nigeria, whether legal or illegal, as the government is saying, the penalty is the loss of your salary and allowances during the period of the strike. So all the government can say this time around, for those of you on strike, if the strike lasts 2-3 days or a week, you will not be paid your salary. That's what the law is saying. But the government has already captured that by saying, we're not going to penalize you for going on strike because it's a legitimate strike.
All right.
The court in line with Section 16 of the Constitution. This is the position of the law. Because you can't say you cannot go on strike. At the same time, you say, I didn't give you a notice. If I cannot go on strike, why do I need to give you a notice then?